Cave Creek, Arizona, a journey through time and terrain. Nestled in the foothills of the Sonoran Desert, just 30 miles north of Phoenix, Cave Creek, Arizona, is a town that captures the heart and spirit of the Old West while embracing the beauty and diversity of the desert landscape. With its stunning desert vistas, vibrant community, and rich cultural heritage, Cave Creek offers an experience that is both timeless and unforgettable. A desert oasis, Cave Creek is located in the northern reaches of the Sonoran Desert, one of the most biologically diverse deserts in the world. Here, the desert's rugged beauty unfolds in every direction, with towering saguaro cacti standing sentinel over the vast, open spaces. The town, sitting at an elevation of around 2,100 feet, enjoys slightly cooler temperatures than the nearby Phoenix metro area, making it a perfect retreat from the city's heat. The climate is distinctly arid, characterized by hot summers that often see temperatures soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and mild, sunny winters where temperatures hover in the 60s and 70s. Rain is scarce, with most of it falling during the monsoon season in late summer. These brief but powerful storms can transform the desert, bringing forth a burst of wild flowers and greenery that paint the landscape with vibrant colors. A gateway to adventure. Cave Creek's natural surroundings are a playground for outdoor enthusiasts. The town is encircled by protected areas and parks that offer endless opportunities for adventure. The Cave Creek Regional Park, covering nearly 3,000 acres of desert terrain, is a haven for hikers, mountain bikers, and horseback riders. Trails like the Go John Trail provide panoramic views of the surrounding mountains and valleys, and wildlife such as javelinas, coyotes, and a myriad of bird species can often be spotted. To the northeast, the Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area offers a more rugged and isolated experience. Spanning over 2,200 acres, this conservation area preserves some of the most pristine Sonoran Desert wilderness. It's a place where ancient history and natural beauty converge, with archaeological sites like the Hohokam petroglyphs nestled among the desert hills. The conservation area's challenging trails lead explorers to breathtaking viewpoints and hidden treasures like the Elephant Mountain Fortress. And this is where our story takes place. In the tranquil town of Cave Creek, Arizona, where the desert meets the horizon and life seems idyllic, the Morris family appeared to be the embodiment of the American dream. Ruby Morris, who had survived a tumultuous childhood, believed she had finally found her safe haven when she married Gaylynn Earl Morris, known simply as Earl, in 1959. Their union, forged in the vibrant nightlife of a Memphis bar, seemed destined for greatness. Earl, with his confident demeanor and ambition, embraced Ruby's young son, Randy, as his own, solidifying the bond of their new family. Their journey together took them from the hustle and bustle of Memphis to the serene, upscale community of Cave Creek, Arizona. Here, they built a life that many would envy, founding a successful accounting business that allowed them to live in a sprawling house on 5 acres of land, surrounded by the untouched beauty of the desert. The Morris family expanded over the years, adding 2 daughters to their ranks. Dawna, the elder daughter, had dreams as expansive as the desert skies, An aspiring country and western singer, she performed under the name Dawna K. Wells, with her father Earl managing her budding career. Cyndi, the younger daughter, carved out a simpler path for herself, working as a waitress and living close to her parents. By 1989, the Morris family seemed to have it all. They had a cabin cruiser docked on the sunny shores of San Diego, a motorhome for adventurous road trips, and a seemingly perfect family life. Randy, now 32, had followed in his father's footsteps in some ways, building a life of his own with a wife and 3 children. He worked in the service industry, perhaps not as glamorous as his sister's aspirations, but it was honest work, and it provided for his family. On the surface, the Morrises were the picture of success and contentment, a family that had climbed the ladder of prosperity, one that embodied small-town values and the promise of a bright future. They were well regarded in the community, where school kids scored above average on college admissions tests, and the local zoning laws kept out the big chains like Walmart and Burger King, preserving the town's quaint charm. But beneath the polished exterior, the Morris family was a volcano waiting to erupt. The pressure had been building for years, fueled by unspoken resentments, unhealed wounds from the past, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Ruby, who had overcome so much in her life, was perhaps the glue that held it all together, but even she could feel the cracks forming. Dawna's music career, while promising, was fraught with the challenges of the entertainment industry. Earl's management of her career added a new layer of tension as the lines between father and manager blurred. Cyndi, living nearby, often found herself caught between the demands of her own life and the pull of her family's needs. And then there was Randy, Earl's adopted son, who had always felt the weight of his father's expectations. As a husband and father himself, Randy was determined to provide for his own family, but the shadows of his past and the unyielding pressure to succeed began to take their toll. The Morris family, with all their wealth and status, was on the brink of a crisis that no one saw coming. The seemingly perfect life they had built in Cave Creek was about to be shattered, and the secrets buried deep within their hearts would soon come to light, threatening to destroy everything they had worked so hard to achieve. On June 3, 1989, the tranquility of the Morris family's life was shattered. Ruby Morris, 47, failed to show up for a shopping trip with her daughter Cyndi, and her husband Earl was also missing. Although Earl eventually returned, Ruby was nowhere to be found, leaving their children in distress and confusion. The case soon became tangled in a web of scandal. Among the disturbing discoveries were a burning pleasure boat and revelations of an affair involving an in-law. DNA evidence further complicated the situation by uncovering a troubling connection to a second individual of interest, who was almost as problematic as the primary suspect. Ruby's distinctive yellow 1984 Cadillac remained untouched in the driveway. Her purse and a gun that the family had kept at home were missing, but there were no signs of forced entry or theft. This lack of clear evidence initially left investigators at a standstill. Randy Morris, Ruby's son, took drastic measures using an all-terrain vehicle to search the desert, while Cyndi scoured the hills around their home. Dawna Morris, Ruby's eldest daughter, took to distributing leaflets, offering a $1,000 reward for information on Ruby's whereabouts, but the search yielded no immediate results. Earl, who was on a trip to Los Angeles for his daughter Dawna's music career, claimed his car had broken down and he had hitchhiked the rest of the way back to Arizona, a story that raised some doubts. When the police found no visible blood at the Morris home, they used luminol to reveal hidden traces. The results were startling. The carpet and headboard in Ruby and Earl's bedroom lit up with blood. Laboratory tests confirmed that the blood belonged to Ruby. The investigation unearthed even more disturbing news. Randy, previously unaware of his true parentage, discovered that Earl was not his biological father. DNA tests revealed that Ruby had been a victim of sexual assault at a young age, and that her attacker was her own father. After Randy was born, Ruby had concealed the truth by passing him off as her younger brother until her marriage to Earl, who then raised him as his own. Further DNA testing revealed that Cindy's biological father was not Earl either. The revelations painted a grim picture of the Morris family, unraveling a tapestry of secrets and lies beneath their outwardly perfect facade. The case exposed deep-seated issues and brought to light the hidden complexities of their family dynamics. As detectives delved into the Morris family case, further unsettling evidence came to light. The search of Earl Morris's El Camino revealed additional traces of Ruby's blood, indicating severe injuries that suggested she could not have survived. This discovery solidified the case as a confirmed homicide. With the murder investigation in full swing, authorities examined the family dynamics more closely. It was uncovered that Earl had been involved in an affair with Ruby's sister, Peggy Williams Hinton.
You just about had a coronary. Well, you know that when I take this to the lawyer tomorrow, with your name on to all this stuff, then you're going to get noticed.
Tensions had flared publicly, including a dramatic confrontation at an airport, where Ruby accused Earl and Peggy of infidelity and threatened to expose Earl's financial misconduct involving skimming from their accounting business. Ruby's demands for a divorce and a significant share of their substantial marital assets, estimated between $1 million and $2.1 million, were at the heart of the dispute. By October 1989, Earl had become uncooperative with the police, insisting on having legal representation present during any further questioning. The investigation uncovered that Earl's alibi was fabricated. Contrary to his claims of being in Los Angeles, he had actually traveled to San Diego where his boat was docked. Earl had flown back to Phoenix under the alias G. Norris, a detail that was exposed when flight crew members identified him due to his distinctive toupee. The breakthrough in the case came from an unexpected source, Dawna Morris, Earl's daughter. Once a staunch supporter of her father, Dawna's perspective changed as she assisted the police in uncovering crucial evidence. She learned that Earl had rented a speedboat in San Diego on June 4, 1989, the day after Ruby disappeared. News reports had previously noted a cabin cruiser, the High-Low, burning off the San Diego coast, an event that had initially seemed disconnected from the Morris case. The authorities pieced together a chilling theory. Earl had likely killed Ruby in their bedroom, then transported her body in the El Camino to San Diego. There, he transferred her remains to the High-Low and set the boat ablaze to destroy any evidence. The fire effectively erased all traces of Ruby's body, and Earl's subsequent flight back to Phoenix completed his cover-up. This series of events painted a damning portrait of Earl Morris, unraveling his intricate and deadly plan to evade justice and protect his financial and personal interests. In March 1990, Earl Morris faced indictment for the murder of his wife, Ruby. The prosecution, spearheaded by Maricopa County Deputy Attorney William Clayton, presented a compelling case. They argued that an explosive argument had erupted between Earl and Ruby over his affair with her sister, Peggy Williams Hinton, and his questionable business practices. This argument, they claimed, culminated in Earl shooting Ruby twice in the head. Blood spatter patterns found on the headboard of their bed were presented as crucial evidence, allegedly proving that Ruby had been murdered. The trial, which began in 1992, brought further twists to the case. Earl Morris shifted his defense strategy dramatically. Under oath, he admitted to transporting Ruby's body to San Diego, where he had propped her up in the passenger seat of his vehicle. However, he contended that Ruby had been dead upon his arrival, having committed suicide in their Arizona home. Earl maintained that he covered up the incident out of fear that the police would wrongly accuse him of her death. During the trial, the prosecution presented a detailed and compelling argument against Earl Morris. They highlighted a sequence of events and evidence that pointed towards his guilt. The central argument was that Earl had killed Ruby following an intense argument about his affair with her sister and his dubious financial dealings. The prosecution used blood spatter analysis from the Morris home to assert that Ruby had been shot twice in the head, a key piece of forensic evidence aimed at proving the premeditated nature of the murder. Earl's defense, led by Tom Henza, offered a starkly different narrative. Earl claimed that Ruby had committed suicide, and he had only transported her body to San Diego out of fear that he would be wrongfully accused of her death.
My first thoughts were that I would be blamed for Ruby committing suicide.
After you had those thoughts, did you make any decisions?
Yes, I did.
What decisions did you make?
To hide the fact with what she'd done.
The defense suggested that Ruby's past trauma and the couple's financial stress had driven her to take her own life. Despite this alternative theory, the defense struggled to overcome the substantial evidence presented by the prosecution. The turning point in the case came with the testimony and evidence presented by the prosecution. They meticulously debunked Earl's version of events, pointing out inconsistencies and highlighting forensic evidence that suggested Ruby had been murdered. The evidence of blood spatter patterns on the bedroom headboard was particularly damning, as it indicated a violent and deliberate attack. Additionally, the prosecution's case was bolstered by Earl's misleading statements and attempts to obscure his movements, such as using a pseudonym when booking his flight and renting a boat under false pretenses. The prosecution also highlighted Earl's motive, emphasizing the financial and personal stakes involved. The couple's substantial wealth and the potential for a significant divorce settlement provided a strong motive for Earl. Furthermore, Earl's affair with Peggy Williams Hinton and the subsequent confrontation with Ruby added layers of personal conflict to the case. The jury, after careful consideration of the evidence and arguments from both sides, returned a verdict of guilty. Earl Morris was convicted of the murder of Ruby Morris. The verdict was a culmination of months of legal battles, forensic analysis, and emotional testimony. The conviction was seen as a significant victory for justice, bringing closure to a case that had shocked the community with its complexity and tragedy. In the aftermath of the trial, Earl Morris was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case served as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of personal betrayal and the lengths to which some individuals might go to cover up their crimes. For Ruby Morris's family, the conviction provided a measure of justice, though the loss and turmoil of the case left lasting scars.